what the feds really done to me. 444 was the months that she sung to me. They stumbled me, I mean the trial was a rumblebee. The judge pulled a gun on me and asked me, what's it gonna be? I said humbly, bitch, you add 'em up. Don't come to me no less than 12 and plus I'm mad as fuck. I'm stuck. I guess I hustle out the kitchen, cause my crew don't do no bitching, and on guard we do no stitching. First stop, Lewisburg Penitentiary. The structures of them legends and their words did me mentally. Secondly, my paperwork good, no checking me. Expect from me, respect from me, loyalty especially. Weaponry, I kept it tucked on the left of me, in case of pig search or the ops try to step to me. Ray book a step down, but the same look. Wifey pass a different way, but use the same hook. I gotta fight, my endurance is my specialty. Became a shot caller for the pound, not just in my seat. Spig nights, 10 calendars, I did twice. Queens get the money, long time.
You ever live behind walls? Can never fold, them never fall. Never been, we stand tall. Yeah, stand tall. In this world, all you got is your word and your...
All right, y'all know what it is. We back on the couch with my brother Kenny Rock, man. He came to bring that good energy, good vibes. And I just got finished talking to my brother Real. So now the energy is high, the stakes are set high. Now we gotta have the brother come here and follow up. Now what makes this so different from the last interview is that was the father. Now he's playing the role of the son. But
that's my father?
That's your father?
That's my father? Wait a minute.
That's your dad?
No, hold on. Not that nigga. Not that nigga. That was nigga in Nebraska?
The illest nigga in Nebraska.
Is you about it,
Low life. Tell the people a little bit about who you are, Kenny Rock.
Kenny Rock, do or die bet star,
okay.
Legendary Rock Family Dynasty.
Okay.
So I'm from
Legendary Rock Family Dynasty?
Legendary Rock Family Dynasty, Decatur, Howard, and Saratoga. For those who are familiar with Saratoga Avenue, for those who are familiar with Howard Avenue, from right over there.
Okay, that's what's up.
The other side of Bed-Stuy.
The other side. So what you been up to? What you been doing, man?
Prepping to do some work with you guys.
Okay.
I'm a little ecstatic, excited. I don't know what to expect. You know.
Okay.
I'm trying to see it through. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You done got a chance to get a little familiar with your lines. From your point of view, describe Star, the character Star, for me.
A leader, a chess player, very strategic, organized, disciplined, and bold and fierce.
Okay. Do you feel any pressure playing that role?
Yeah, the pressure comes from I wanna make him happy as well as myself and deliver what needs to be delivered. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Overall, from the perspective of the character. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So okay, let me ask you this, because when you deal with Star, the Mastermind, he comes up with all of the schematics, the blueprint, the layout of how things go. In your life, do you exercise any of those characteristics on your everyday life, and how?
Definitely. I mean, it's a lot of time we go outside in the morning time. We don't know whether or not we coming back in. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, there's all kind of shit happening all over the world. I can't sit there and point the finger to New York. There's a lot of crazy shit happening all over. So I mean, in our daily lives, I mean, dealing with work, dealing with making ends meet, we have to be strategic and disciplined and focused, and kind of keep our head on the swivel, because that's the temperature of today.
So it's safe to say your everyday life, you was not robbing the bank. You was not robbing, sticking up the check cashing place, or none of that. That's not your everyday life.
That's not my everyday life, but I damn sure thought about it every day. I thought about it every day.
And now you get opportunity to display it and play it out on the big screen, man.
Absolutely. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a blood rush to do that. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, I'm gonna put a little more pressure on you and let you know a little bit more about Star's character that you may not know. He's one of those individuals that gets a lot of respect for his driving skills.
Okay.
I mean, he can drive damn near anything on wheels, man, but mostly he's good at the bikes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be a few scenes where you're going to have to get on that bike, or we might have to put a stunt double. I don't know how that go, but it's going to be a few scenes with the bike, because he gets away on that bike. He gets away in that car in the rain, hail, sleet, snow. Wow. He gets away, man. I'm talking about speeds of 105, 110, 115. And I'm camcording it because people ain't gonna believe it how it's really going down.
He's driving that fast in New York City. Damn. Okay.
Mind you, he's
He's Evil
2000.
Knievel star.
Yeah. He gets away. So his character has so many different layers and so many dimensions to it that you won't get it unless you really get close enough to him, because he don't tell it.
Okay.
Getting Star to communicate and speak and talk, it's pulling teeth, because he don't usually do no type of real communication.
Wow.
You see his work through other people on the effects of what he's done. So we're going to strive to get him here today and get him to interact, sit down. We're going to chop it up a little bit. But one of the most important things you got to always keep in mind when you're dealing with him is you got to pay attention to his temperament.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because none of us is really like real aggressive and rough and raw. Nah. But when we mean what we say, we mean it, and you know it. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna get it done by all means. And then later I'm gonna sit down and explain to you all the hell I went through to get it done. That mind state
makes sense.
Is what pushed me to the next level.
Okay.
And I got it from him.
Okay.
Our beginning stages of relationship was a lot of pressure for me because I was being pulled out of my molding. I was already doing my thing.
You was already comfortable.
I was comfortable doing my thing, and I had, the stuff that I needed to be. I had it. But now when he changed the point of view of how I saw life, it opened up a whole new Pandora's box. Like, yo, you can have anything now. Not just a little, you can have anything.
How do you think he was able to persuade you?
Well, the main thing was the way he was introduced. One of my young childhood comrades, I call him my cousin, Jamal, shout out to Jamal. He introduced me to him, said, yo, that's my uncle, woo, woo. And as he's breaking things down, like, dang, he did all that, he do this, he do that. And now, mind you, we was young at the time. So we hadn't experienced a lot. So my thing was, I got my own little legacy that I'm building, my own thing I'm doing.
Right.
So when you introduce us and sit us down, it's like, you introducing us in the sense that, yo, I come to the table with something, you come to the table with something.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? And then when we sat down and it was like a not even a battle, but when we had a meeting of the minds,
Comparison.
I said, man, this dude is crazy, man. If he's serious about everything he's saying, this different level, because I never thought on this level. You see what I'm saying?
Do you think he was heartless, reckless when he was telling you these stories? Or
No.
just in the moral for me, I'm comfortable and content with that?
Nah. What it was I had lack of experience. I started off doing my thing at 13 years old, but I was a Mac. I wasn't no
13?
robber. I wasn't no taker. I used to talk my way into the worlds of people and get what I wanted. So now
At 13?
At 13 years old.
Like, what were you doing exactly?
Put it like this. You ever seen the movie Goldie Mac, the Mac?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, at that time I had never seen the movie ever.
Right.
But I wanted to be like Goldie Mac.
Right. Everybody wanted to be
now,
like
mind you,
Goldie
I'd
Mac.
never seen the movie, but everybody that had seen it around me
Was like,
had
yo.
that influence. And so I said, man, if a man could have the power to get somebody to do whatever they want to do by just talking, he a bad man. So I always wanted to tap into that power, but I didn't know that I had it. But my older brothers around me used to challenge me. Say, yo, I bet you can't do this, I bet you can't do that without doing this or without doing that. So you had to come up with a strategic way to get certain things done. And this is how I developed the skill of doing things in an extraordinary way. And so now when I get with Star, now I got the experience of doing things in an extraordinary way, but now we about to take it to another level where you get it like you've never gotten it before.
You was already molded. You was molded, priorly molded into that.
Right. So now, what you're going to experience on the big screen is how those relationships shaped and molded and created something different than what it was before. Because all of our lives changed as a result of us coming together.
Absolutely.
Nobody was the same after about 6 months of us doing what we was doing. So now your character is going to evolve and grow in many different levels because of how we got away. It's one thing for you to bring to the table your intelligence, your strategicness and all that, but it's another thing for us to execute it, bring it together, and us reaping the benefits of it over and over again.
Wow.
So this TV series is more so a testimonial of real life development, redemption, reparations. It's deeper than just bank robbery. So the project itself is an example of what can be when you have a focused mind, you're determined, and you constantly elevating towards a goal. So it's a lot deeper than just saying, okay, we robbed banks, we took all this money, we ran up in here, we had cars, we had money, we had jewelry, yeah, all that come with it. But inside, when you take all that off and you lay back at night, your character is constantly evolving. I'm developing manhood in a way that I wouldn't even know until I look back and say, man, I picked up this along the way, I picked up that. Do you have any life experiences that you can share with us to tell us how you became a man? Yeah, I gotta put you on the spot. Because after being on the couch with the brother Real, we on one right now.
When I know I was a man, when life experience, when I realized I was a man, and I have a mom, like she's bold.
Okay.
And a lot of times she do stuff, and I guess she probably try to go to her grave with it, not say shit about it. And you hear other people, you know what I mean, coming up with bits and pieces and parts or what have you. And I'm like, yeah, why the hell she didn't tell me?
Right.
Just that and the third. But back, I want to say back in the 50s. Thank you so much. He's being generous. Back in the 50s, she grew up in the Jim Crow South in South Carolina, and she used to have to clean out white people's house in this area, suburban area called the White People Section of Andrews, South Carolina. And when we left in January 92, that spring going into summer, we moved on the block where she had to clean out the house next door as a child. But remember, during that time, for like lunch, she wasn't able to eat in the house. She had to sit on the step and eat, you know what I mean, lunch or whatever, because she wasn't allowed in the house like that. It's like, yeah, you're good enough to be a worker, but she wasn't good enough to, you know what I mean, be all in these people's house like that. So she was forced to sit outside the house and eat her sandwich or whatever. So when she got older, she said, fuck it, she went and tried to buy the house, but we ended up moving next door because the house wasn't for sale. But when I realized I was a man, I was like 14, and the house that we were in, we actually had the carport was done into a TV room, a den. Okay. And we had an electrical fire from the TV room into the laundry room. Okay. We had an electrical fire. So I'm there and I'm annoying my little sister, I'm annoying my little brother, whatever. So everybody in their room, everybody's in their room on TV or whatever. And I'm sitting there on the couch or whatever, just watching boxing or something like that. I'm a huge boxing fan. Just watching boxing, and then the house was on fire and I'm yelling, everybody's egging me. So I had to go outside. The neighbor heard me screaming or whatever, trying to get through the living room, because it's like two entrances. Right. The entrance with the den, and there's the entrance with the living room. Okay. Little tiny living room or whatever. And I remember knocking all on the door or whatever, and nobody coming to the door. They're like, why is everybody not at that front door? But I had to run. So the fire is blaze. It's going. The fire's not even blazing yet. It's like starting, but it's electric, so I was rushing. Right. And I remember like the next door neighbor, he was actually the coach at the high school, whatever. I remember, like, you know what I mean, getting out of his arms, running in there, bringing everybody out. And then we just watched the whole house go engulfed in flames or whatever. And I knew right then, I was like, yeah, damn, that was. I was forced to be. I was a situation where I was like forced to be a man. Okay. Like, what was it like growing up in the household? How many siblings did you have? 8. 8? Yeah. 8 siblings in one household? Yeah. Well, describe the dynamic. I mean, just give us a little insight on what is it like in a family of 8 of Rocks, the Rock family 8. Because I didn't see many 8, but what's the Rock family 8? And when we talk about Rock, we're talking about Chris Rock, Kenny Rock, Tony Rock. Yeah, what was that like? It was phenomenal, man. It was phenomenal. It was a lot of love there. Like, I can honestly say we didn't grow up. We grew up with a lot of love as opposed to dealing with survival. We knew our dad went through a lot, working full time driving the post truck and driving the daily news truck, and my mother taught. So they just tried to instill, family and hard work ethic values in us that we took. Like, for instance, like I look at I look at the Cosby Show growing up like we all did. I'm like, yeah, that's like my family right there. That's how we kind of grew up.
Right.
Like they didn't just have a whole bunch of kids and we got to figure this shit out. They planned 10 kids, but had 7.
Okay.
They planned 10, but I had 7. Like my dad had a son from a previous marriage, you know, and he was raised along with us too or whatever. But we was raised with a lot of love, a lot of structure, work hard.
Who was the hardest working sibling out of y'all?
Hardest working sibling out of us would be my brother Charles. My brother Charles, God rest his soul, he passed away. And like growing up, we didn't really establish a relationship until when I graduated in the mid to late 90s and moved back to New York, because the whole time I was speaking to him growing up or seeing him growing up, he was in and out of prison the majority of my life. So it was always, you know, talking on a prison phone or something like that. But I got a lot of the input and knowledge about him because everybody, you know, emphasized that he was the only one that graduated college. He was the only one that graduated college. He was the only one with a he also had a business degree. Very he was in the streets. Right. He's very book smart too. And you know, had his own insurance company back in the day, stuff like that.
So is it safe to say that he was your favorite sibling?
He wasn't my favorite sibling simply because, like I said, I didn't really get to know him until when I left South Carolina and came back to New York. Everybody started, you know what I mean, started families. I started moving out, Atlanta, LA, New Jersey. So it was just me and him. But I always admired him, but now it was just us. So it was like we kind of bonded. It was me and Andre. Me and Andre and Tony. Andre is actually 12 years older, birthday the same day. So I never really had a curfew. Andre, I worship the ground Andre walked on. Andre getting dressed on the weekend, jumping on his dirt bike to go to A&S, to go downtown to A&S or whatever. I'm getting dressed in the mirror like I'm going with him, to the point my mother's like, yeah, just take him with you. So I'm back 7, 8 years old, down when downtown was full of sharks and wolves. I'm down there with him. But he's obviously not by himself, but I'm down there with him and he's talking to girls and he's telling me, you go talk to this girl for me or whatever like that.
So that was a crazy time in your life.
So that was a crazy time in my life.
Where was you the first time you heard Lex Coupes, Beamers, and Benz?
In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Myrtle Beach in high school.
What was that about?
I was like, yo, damn, these cats are from where I'm from. Like, they from, like, everybody's like, yo, why you so jubilee about it? Or why you so amped up about it? I'm like, yo, this shit is home.
Yeah.
This is home. Like, when I'm seeing the Renee video and I'm seeing the Brownstones, everybody's like, my friends at the house, you know, after school, we might be watching Rap City or something. I think Yo TV Raps was on the weekend. They're like, yo, why you so, like, yo, that I'm looking at Brownstones that signify home. Like, I grew up in a brownstone that my dad paid for, so it's like, yo, that's how I'm able to relate to it differently.
You was down south when this happened? I was down south when
this happened.
You was going to school?
I was going to I did junior high and high school.
Okay.
The first week in South Carolina in school was a couple of days before Juice came out.
Okay.
And then it came out, I'll never forget, like my mother taking us to go see it, and then she left me and my sister and said, I'm going back to New York to sell a brownstone.
Okay.
So I remember that vividly, like, you know, I remember that.
What's your top 3 Lost Boys songs?
Renee.
Everybody say Renee, okay.
Because it was the most commercial. Lex Coupes, Beamers, and can I name a Mr. Cheek song or no?
Yeah, that's all related. That's all the family.
Crush on You was one of my favorite.
Okay,
but
Crush on You, John.
But I never forget that the Renee video was recorded during the 96 snowstorm. During that snowstorm, it was a lot of snow for a long amount of time, right? I had spring break in South Carolina. So my mother was younger then, so we would drive up from South Carolina, might make a pit stop East Baltimore, Wire area, because my mother had 2 uncles there. But we drove up to New York during the time the video debuted and we got to Richmond, we switched seats and I drove at 17 years old all the way into
No license.
permit. I drove all the way. It might have been through the Holland Tunnel. It might have been to the Holland Tunnel or all the way to Manhattan, because she was like, yeah, you got to learn this and probably do this on your own one day. But I remember the snow that we dealt with in the coldness, because the snow took so long to clear up. And then when I get to my siblings' crib, older siblings, all that snow is there. And the video just came out, and I just drove through it.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this before we go. What is your fondest memory of growing up with Tony and Chris?
Fondest memory of growing up with them, Tony was always funnier. Tony was always very funny. Chris was always always on the go. He was always on the go. He was the oldest because, like I said, Charles was away, so he was always on the go. Like when he started comedy, I was like 5.
Oh yeah,
so he was like 5. So he was always working a job and on the go.
Right.
Like, you know, my parents' whole attitude was like, if you're not going to school, you got to be somewhere working or whatever. But I remember my dad, you know, finding out about the comedy, being mad. Like, he was like, you know, because he had dropped out of high school. Got kicked out of high school, then he went back and finished, of course. But my dad was like a comedian, like he's ready to whip his ass.
Right,
he's really ready to
right.
whip his ass. Like, yo, what is it? Like, what are you talking about this comedy shit? Like, yo, go find a job somewhere and da 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 da. And
did you ever tap into comedy or do anything with comedy?
I never wanted to be a comedian. Like, my mother said this like years ago. She said, you know, when they used to stand me up on the toilet, I remember them standing me up. They used to stand me up naked and wash me for Catholic school or whatever. And he said, my mother was like, my dad would say, yeah, I'm gonna be special. I'll be something different because of my personality and everything like that. But he never told it to me. But she said that was his whole mindset. For me, like, yo, he gonna be something, and I was always just had a little personality about myself. He said, I'm gonna end up doing something along the lines in entertainment or what have you. So,
well, that's funny you say that, because when you're dealing with fatherhood, that's what's been the topic today. That's been the main thing, because he talked about fatherhood, being a father example for his family. You saying how you grew up with a father. And fatherhood is something that we usually overlook. Most of us just, you know, dads do what dads do.
A lot of us, unfortunately, don't know what it is. So when you don't know what something is, it's kind of hard to identify with it. But I mean, I grew up seeing one. It just makes my situation a little bit different. It doesn't make me better than anybody. But like I tell people all the time, like when I look at John Amos on Good Times. Right. I look at Danny Glover and Lethal Weapon. I was looking at Cosby. I'm like, yo, my dad, not only my dad looked like them, his behavior is identifiable with all 3 of them. It's like I was looking at my dad, looking at them. Okay. I was looking at what's the wife's name on the Cosby Show? Felicia Rashad.
Come on, you know,
Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, Felicia
I'm looking at my mother.
Yeah,
because they was so much like them to a T almost, you know?
Claire Huxtable was the household mom for everybody.
Yeah, Claire Huxtable, yeah.
Everybody loved Claire Huxtable, man. Yeah. So, in this series, by you being one of the only ones in the series that has a father figure.
Okay.
How does having a real life father and having one in the TV series, how does it help you be able to get prepared for what's about to come? Because this is about to get deep. It's going to be a lot of times where him and his dad have conversations. Have you had a lot of conversations with your dad that stood out with you, that helped you become a man and as a man today?
Unfortunately, no, because my dad passed away when I was 9. He passed away when I was 9, and it affects me greatly because I didn't just have a dad, I had a father. You understand what I'm saying? We were very close. He worshipped the ground I walked on. I worshiped the ground he walked on. So I missed out on, a lot of things that I probably wasn't meant to miss out on because I didn't have a dad there. When I was in South Carolina, I went from being on Howard Avenue, Saratoga Avenue. I got to fight. My brothers are standing behind me, making sure,
get jumped, nobody come
right, everything don't go left. Even though I was never looking for them to do that, because I just think independently to going down to South Carolina and it's me, my younger sister, my younger brother, and I got a brother away 3 hours away in Columbia, South Carolina in college, it's just me there. I'm not calling nobody. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So it was different, but yeah, what was the initial question?
Your interaction growing up, having dad, and how the impact of that helped you as an adult. Anything you can remember dealing with your dad and having a dad and how that helped you impact you as an adult.
I could just say like my older siblings substituted as my dad because they were older, and we come from a time where the oldest one gives the rules and it trickles down or whatever. So that's how I had to kind of grow up. But I mean, what really hurt was him not there when I had my prom, not able to tie my tie. When I went to get my first car, we started driving early in South Carolina. He wasn't there for that to teach me how to drive, or my best friend teasing me about not knowing how to drive back when I was 15, 16 years old. But I'm like, you have a dad that, had you doing this at 10, 11 years old. So my situation was different. You know what I mean? Not having a dad to, introduce my little girlfriend to. It hurt.
Yeah.
It definitely hurt, but it wasn't my fault,
Okay. With this TV series, what are you looking to gain from this? Where do you see it? If you can have it in a perfect picture from your point of view, where do you see this going?
I see this going in a perfect picture. Us having a blueprint to go down to one of the biggest banks
yeah.
in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Dressed in zoot suits with a team of people. To the east side of the street, to the west side of the street, the top of the building, and across the street, to go in the building and get our resources, reparations, and results.
You sound like Star already. Tell the people where they can find you at, man.
Kenny Rock, Facebook. Kenny Rock is a baby picture after the blackout. I'm quite sure y'all know which blackout. And Kenny Rock 619 on IG.
Okay, y'all heard it here first, man. Kenny Rock, man. From the Rock Legacy, man. He came by to stop by the couch to bless us with his presence, man. We got one more special interview we got to do, so we're going to take a quick break and we're going to get back to you on the couch at the TTO headquarters. Ooh.
Rock Family Dynasty.
I remember what the feds really done to me. 444 was the months that she sung to me. They stumbled me, the trial was a rumblebee. The judge pulled a gun on me and asked me, what's it gonna be? I said humbly, bitch, you add 'em up. Don't come to me no less than 12 and plus I'm mad as fuck. I'm stuck. I guess I hustle out the kitchen, cause my crew don't do no bitching, and on guard we do no stitching. First stop, Lewisburg Penitentiary. The structures of the legends and their words did me mentally. Secondly, my paperwork good, no checking me. Expect from me, respect from me, loyalty especially. Weaponry, I kept it tucked on the left of me, in case some pig search or the ops try to step to me. Ray book a step down, but the same look. Wifey pass a different way, but use the same hook. I gotta fight, my endurance is my specialty. Became a shot caller for the pound, not just in my seat. Spig nights, 10 calendars, I did twice. Queens get the money, long time.
You ever live behind wall. Can never fold, them never fall. Never been, we stand tall. Yeah, stand tall. In this world, all you got is your word and your